Hello, crypto boys and ghouls, and welcome back to the channel, Tales from the Cryptomancer, where we feature content on play-to-earn games on the blockchain, such as Splinterlands. And today I just wanted to do a quick video on SPS and potentially what could be some bullish scenarios that could potentially happen in the next few months. Just definitely something to be aware of. Now, first and foremost, one, this is not financial advice, right? This is just for informational, educational purposes, and I am not a financial advisor. So, with that being said, let's talk a little bit about what could be on the horizon for SPS. And we've had a little bit of a certainly a dip in the price of SPS. We've been hovering around 12 cents now for probably a week or two, I would say, and no real signs of necessarily any strong upward or downward movement. We've just been kind of trending sideways here, and certainly at 12 cents, SPS is well off of its all-time high. But what could be some possibilities for SPS price movement in the near future, and what could some scenarios look like? Well, first I want to talk about the SPS 2022 roadmap. I'm going to link it in the video description below. But really here, there's two takeaways I want to discuss. The first is with the validator nodes and the governance coming on board in the Q1 timeframe. It's definitely been a focus of Matt's to get this on board. We have a couple things. So one is worth noting that the SPS Foundation currently holds 4 million worth of various cryptocurrencies, and not including the SPS tokens that it holds, right? So this $4 million is going to be immediately available for voting for governance on what to do with this 4 million once governance comes on board. Now, what the roadmap says is these funds, including the SPS tokens as part of the funding, are owned jointly by the staked SPS token holders, and as soon as the SPS governance systems is released to the community, you'll be able to vote on proposals regarding its use. Some sample proposal ideas could be things like purchasing SPS tokens, providing liquidity to an automated market maker pool, paying for a product or service, burning tokens, or even distributing funds back to token holders. It really can be anything the community agrees upon. This is huge because if you realize that governance could be upon us here in Q1, which is just, it's already February. So in February or the March timeframe, we could, as a SPS stakeholding community, authorize the paying for a product or service initially and use some of this $4 million. And what could be a potential scenario here? Well, we've had it mentioned and brought up in many AMAs, and that is the potential listing on an exchange of significance such as Binance, the SPS token, which would provide a lot of liquidity and a lot of visibility and volume to the SPS token. And what we have seen with tokens that have released historically on Binance is certainly a pump in the price, definitely for the short term, but also over the long term as well. And this could be the catalyst for really raising the long-term price projection and of SPS as a token, right? So the days of 12 cents SPS may not be for long, because in reality, we could vote to take some of that $4 million and list on Binance and pay their fee. Now, Agrode has specifically said he's a little adverse to paying, exchanges like Binance a fee to list SPS when they should really list it for free, just because he believes in the token. But for SPS token holders that have been seeing a depressed price, we can certainly look to have that as an option to use some of those funds, which honestly are funds that are available to the SPS token holders to immediately then list on Binance, whether that's a $500,000 fee or whatever that fee happens to be. You can take some of those funds and immediately list. And that could happen technically in Q1, which would be a big catalyst. And there's really nothing, stopping that from proceeding. So it's definitely a non-zero chance of a possibility to happen here in the near future. It's also worth noting that the foundation treasury will have 10% of the total supply of SPS tokens go to the foundation as specified in the SPS token white paper. So this will be continuous funding over time of the SPS life here, where the foundation will have access to these funds for different purposes. The other thing I wanted to bring up as certainly a distinct possibility of happening here is regarding Rift Watchers. Rift Watchers is expected to still launch in Q2 of 2022 from a timing perspective, which means before the end of June. And Rift Watchers is only going to be available from a pack perspective via SPS purchase. There's going to be 3 million Rift Watchers boosters packs purchased at a sale price of $5 per pack, payable only in SPS. And there's going to be bonus packs available as well. This means that roughly 12 million, after accounting for bonus packs, of income will be coming into the SPS Foundation over the course of the edition, all via the SPS token. So that in and of itself should add some buying pressure to the SPS token potentially. But really what I want to draw your attention to is the fact that $12 million of additional income into the fund, in addition to the 4 million plus existing SPS, would be available for SPS holders to then vote on what to do with it. Now, there are many options of what could be done there. One that I want to discuss the possibility of, not necessarily saying I'm for or against it, but one that is a distinct possibility that is mentioned here in the options, is the burning of tokens and what that might look like if $12 million worth of SPS was burnt. So what we can see here is that the current total supply of SPS tokens on the market is 524 million, and the total market cap of the SPS token is 62.77 million, with a current market price of 12 cents. So if Rift Watchers sale were to happen today, as an example, and $12 million worth of SPS tokens were to come into the treasury with everyone buying Rift Watchers packs with SPS at $12 million in revenue, what we can see at 12 cents, the math works out pretty nicely, is we would have received 100 million shares of SPS into the foundation out of 524,000. So that's roughly 20% of the total shares of SPS in existence today. And if you look at it, it would be roughly 100 million out of 262 million total liquid in the market, which is less than more than 1/3. So it's a pretty significant amount of the SPS shares liquid and in existence. And if we look at that, if the SPS community, for example, wanted to see a long-term boost in price for SPS, certainly, yes, the $12 million could be used for things like marketing, things like exchange listings, other things. Certainly, money is very important for funding purposes, but if we're looking at the value of SPS, an option could be to burn that 100 million tokens and reduce the total supply of SPS in the marketplace long term for life, basically. And it's kind of similar to what corporations do to boost their own prices in the market with things like stock buybacks, basically reducing the amount of shares in the market. And you could imagine what that effect would have on the price of SPS if all of a sudden 100 million tokens were removed from the economy. Essentially, the liquid shares would be reduced from 262 million to 162 million, which would have a pretty big impact on the price. And if we just look at it from a pure linear perspective, going from a total supply of 524 million to 424 million, it takes roughly 20%. It's less than 20%, right? Let's do the math real quick here. If we do the math, 524 million, 583,332 times, let's just say roughly 19%, that's roughly 99.67 million shares, so roughly 19%. So if we look at just the linear effect on the price of SPS, if it was a pure linear extrapolation of value, it would be 12 cents times basically 1.19. So with a 19% increase, the token price might be 0.1428 cents. So again, that's not to say that the crypto markets work in a logical or linear fashion, but it's just to show that if something like a burn were to happen, there would likely be an immediate price adjustment in the token of 19% or more potentially. So again, with the potential of burning as an option of the token, with the potential of a Binance listing being initiated by the SPS stakeholders, there are a lot of near-term options that could have some positive price impact on the SPS token. So something to consider. These are some possible bullish scenarios that could be happening much sooner rather than later. And the days of 12-cent SPS may be limited in number. So hopefully this has been informational for you. If it has, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel for more timely content on Splinterlands and the broader market around Splinterlands. And until next time, keep stacking those stats.